as a business owner with a full-time job, separate from the company, how is that balancing that with your personal life?
That's my problem. I will overinvest into one aspect of my life and disregard the others, right? So it's like, obviously I have to focus on my full-time job to maintain that, right? That's a given, right? But then you have like the other factors, the uncontrollables in your life, like the things that go on or happen that you just don't know or can't predict, and that's what's consuming me, because like I put all my eggs in one basket and then I drop the other. And that's like what's happening with PRTW or what's happened with PRTW, just being overwhelmed is a loss of motivation in itself, and then you start to think about the not so fun part of having a business and the money and the numbers and the analytics and that stuff that everybody knows I don't like to deal with, that's no secret. So how I regain that motivation is to re-involve myself with the art, right? When there's a process that takes time and that we're able to put love into, it's so much easier to be passionate about it. When I'm making a t-shirt and I have a transfer and all I have to do is heat press it, it takes 15 seconds. It's easy, it's quick, we can push them out, but there's no art behind that. There's no passion in that, right? But when I have to sit down and I have to learn how to screen print or sew or embroider a garment and actually curate something that's starting from nothing, it's like a whole different type of passion. There's a process behind the art. That's what builds motivation within me. And so if I don't have that artistic process, it's just I just start to lose the grip on wanting to continue. Do you see what I'm saying? We constantly progress when we learn, right? And when you see progression, that builds motivation, right? If you're stagnant, if you're not seeing any progression within any aspect of things, especially when you're dealing with a low capital, or you're dealing with low numbers on social media, it's like there's no progression there, right? So that becomes stagnant and you get stuck, right? But when you look at something like a t-shirt and you start to wonder how it's made, or you look at stitch patterns or screen printing inks and different types of garments and different types of, whatever it may be, there's so much information to take in and so much that I just don't know. It's like I'm finally working with a blank canvas again. And there's something that's so exciting about being able to paint it whatever I want. I've constantly put myself in boxes and I've constantly put these barriers up and not allowed myself to create freedom, or I've not allowed myself creative freedom. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's just like when you put yourself in a box and you're worried about the monetary value of things and you're worried about the numbers you're doing and the people that are reacting, it becomes fake, You can't run a business off of passion if you're worried about the wrong things. You see what I'm saying? The big switch for PRTW, we're going to start upcycling clothing and turning it into different pieces, whether it's bags or whether it's shirts or pants or jackets or whatever it may be. It's going to be about the process now. Taking something that was once used and once worn and turning it into something new, and putting our creative twist on it, right? This idea was given to me 2 years ago when I first started the business in high school by Grace Parabek. I have no idea it was going to resurface. I never thought about it. It's just all ideas have their time, right? There's this thing in the creative process that I reference, when we're pulling ideas, it has to find us, right? And the idea comes to us, we don't come to it, and the idea finally resurfaced and now we're finally able to capitalize on it and put it in and do something bigger with it. It took me 2 years to figure out what that was going to be. Two years, that's a very long time. So I'm looking forward to that. The whole goal is to make sure that everything is produced in-house here, and then donate the profits to something bigger. So it's a very exciting thing. It's fresh, it's new, and it's, like I said, it's the blank canvas idea.
Do you have any other ideas or projects or just what's next for PRTW?
Yeah. I'm not saying we're gonna reframe everything. We're still gonna make our t-shirts. We're still gonna put out our t-shirts, and we're gonna bring back the Just Smile project with the new twist. We're gonna put out some new designs and new logos here and there. But it is gonna be a reframe. Just focusing on the morality side of things, not so much about the clothing, but more about the movement. Actively trying to drop prices because I don't want to follow market trends. I'm actively trying to find ways to keep processes new and to do things that are different aside from business, aside from what's popular or aside from what everybody else likes. It's like it's exciting to be able to sit down in my home and then create a garment from what was once nothing, or once just an old pair of pants that somebody used, and be able to make something out of it that people want to buy and use in their day-to-day lives. That's like so exciting to me. Yeah, and I don't keep secrets. I personally have my own problems that I'm dealing with. I'm actively working on myself to get myself in a better headspace. To be 100% transparent, I've been struggling. We all do in life. It's part of life, and I got to a point where I'm ready to make the change. I'm ready to make healthy or build new healthy habits, and going to counseling and talking to my peers, and trying to put myself back in a place where I'm content. It takes a while to get there, and like I said, we all deal with it in life, but the most healthy thing we can do is just realize it and admit it, admit that we need help. I've been preaching that for such a long time, but I haven't been practicing it. So, I mean, yes, the dormancy with PRTW was, it was slow, it was redundant, it felt like it wasn't about the passion, but there was more behind it than just the boring t-shirts, there's a lot going on behind the scenes as well. And I think we're starting, well, at least I am starting to get to the other end of that and work in a positive direction. I'm actively working with a guy, his name is Marcus, and trying to get his clothing brand started up, Sonder Markets. It's brand new. I'm always trying to network with people who have clothing brands, or businesses at all. Just trying to pick their brains a little bit, see what their processes are and what they're thinking. And I got a bunch of strong connections who are doing very good things or who are very involved with the art. Huge shout out to Elijah Walker with Strangers Club, a very talented artist. He's one of the people who inspired me to start this business. And Avion and Karif Color with Reinvented Studios. Those guys they're artists, and they're showing me art every day. Like they have a new piece every day. They're very talented people. And then as far as working with other people, the upcycling project, the goal with that project is to have whoever come in and be able to design pieces and then put them out, and then we'll donate the profits to charities or whatever cause they support. So I think that's another thing that's so exciting about this, is like we can bring so many more people on board, and have so many more people be a part of the movement. It's not just going to be me, you, and Chris, or me, you, and whoever just sitting in a closed room and putting logos out and selling it. It's going to be more about getting people involved and getting people excited to see like all the different forms of art and fashion and inspiration. To be quite honest, I don't know what I'm doing with business. I'm not good at money management. I'm not good at dealing with analytics, and that's why I asked for help. You, Caleb, are a huge help to me, and I'm forever in debt to you with all the things that you've done for me with the business and with my personal finances. And it's like you have to be able to realize that you have to ask for help. And it's more than just ask for help with your mental health or whatever it is. Every aspect, we can't do this by ourselves, right? There's so many different angles that you have to focus on when you're running a business. And if you let one of them go, the whole business goes down with it, right? If you're not focused on every single aspect, like the media or the marketing or the finances or the creativity, it all crumbles, right? Chris has been pushing out media for me since he started, and he's never disappointed on a single graphic or a single picture or a single video he's ever produced. That's significant, right? You have never ever disappointed with a spreadsheet. You bring me these numbers and I don't even know what you're talking about half the time, but I trust you because you know what you're doing, right? It's the same thing. It's like this dynamic we have that I couldn't do this by myself, and I tried, and we saw how it worked. I don't know anything about graphic design. I don't know anything about videography or photography. I don't know anything about finance, but what I do know about is the clothing and the art and the processes. So if you don't reach out for help, you more than likely will fail. You know, you have to be willing to swallow your pride and get over the fact that others know more than you. You know, when I don't have to look at the numbers, when I don't have to worry about, you know, the not fun part of business is what I call it. It allows me to be in a more creative or creative freedom, you know, like I like a clear headspace, because I'm not just thinking about everything that could or should be happening, but instead I'm thinking about the unreal part of it. You know, like I'm always like, my head is in the clouds, right? And I have these huge goals and aspirations and visions, and then you guys are doing the dirty work, you know, and keeping me grounded and reminding me, hey, we have to be able to fund this project, you know, and things like that. So it's a healthy dynamic, but I couldn't do that unless I had you, or I had Chris, or Aisley, who sat down and made a strategic media plan for us. You know, reaching out for help has been such a big part of progression within the business. I want people to be inspired by the movement. You know, I say it from day one, I'll say it to the day this is done. I want people to look at what we're doing and be inspired to do something more. I don't care about the clothes. You know, it's not about the clothing, it's about the message. You know, if I could achieve anything out of this, take anything with me to my grave, it would be that people were touched and people were inspired to go help others. That's all I could ask for.
Say there's one word. You can only pick one word in the entire dictionary that you want to leave like with the audience, and you want them to think of it the first thing when they wake up in the morning. To think of one word to start their day, start their week, start their month, start their life. What word would you pick?
Love. Love. That's the key to it all. It's just unconditional love. Love for yourself, love for your family, love for your friends, love for your enemies. You have to love.